All right, Dexter, episode 5, Runaway. So, all right. What'd you think?
I liked it.
Goodbye. Good night. That's it. That's all we have to say. She liked it.
I
We're
liked
good.
it. Of course. I've been liking every episode.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool because Harrison is like fucking up. He fucks up in this episode, and I'm there for it. I'm glad that
So
he's
does
having some
Dexter.
problem. Dexter does as well, and I was very nervous. This was another episode where I was just like worried about Dexter making, mistakes. So,
Yeah.
what'd you think?
So, it's Dexter, so for the most part, unless it's the last season, season 8, I'm going to be on board with a lot. There are some major conveniences here, writing-wise, and there's also some really dumb decisions here by Dexter that actually irritated me. It's too stupid for me to explain away. I mean, you could go the whole route of he was in a rush, or he was, overwhelmed with anger, or he's rusty, or whatever. But we'll get there. I was watching, like, really, the way they set it up, I thought it was something else, and then we'll get there. Well, so let's start off. All right. Deb calls out Harry in this episode for child abuse.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of interesting. That, obviously this isn't Deb, this is more of Dexter's subconscious. So I guess Dexter is saying that Harry, was abusive to him by training him in the code. But this is through the lens of what he thinks Deb's thinking.
Sure.
So do you think that Dexter thinks it's child abuse, or do you think that Dexter thinks Deborah would think it was child abuse?
I think it's like what I think it's a blend.
Yeah.
Like what we've been saying about his whole Dark Passenger in general. So I do think a part of him, maybe if he was raised normally and, didn't have that, thinks that perhaps he would, turn out to be a little bit more normal. And I think that is what he ultimately wants, is to be a normal guy. Like if he could get rid of this side of himself, he 100% would, in my opinion. I don't think he enjoys it, but he doesn't enjoy, how difficult it is and how much it makes him different and alienates him and all of that. And as far as Deb goes, I do think that he believes that this is the opinion she would have about Harry. And I agree with her. I do think it's child abuse. He's teaching, a kid how to be a murderer. So it's not what you want to teach children.
No.
Even if they do have emotional problems, the smart thing to do, obviously, is to enroll them in therapy, maybe get them on medication, and, monitor their behavior so that they don't do anything violent that would hurt themselves or somebody else.
I think Harry just, doesn't want... I mean, we know. We watch the show, right? It's really more that Harry has a few different reasons why he's doing it. And one of which is, like, he thinks the system is broken.
Sure.
And someone like Dexter can be this vigilante, this kind of justice that's out there that he can't provide as an officer of the law because he's seen, too many people suffer because of the system. And Dexter's going to be the knight in shining armor that comes and protects the people, as opposed to, he's like, oh, he's going to kill people anyways. If I can hone this in on doing something good.
Yeah, that's the reasoning entirely.
Sure.
And it does, make sense from his perspective.
But if I was teaching my kids to murder people, it's child abuse.
Yes, 100%.
For sure.
Even if they are killing criminals and other murderers,
Sure.
you shouldn't kill people, like, as much as you can help it, right? Unless your life is being threatened in some way and it's like, you have no other option. You shouldn't kill people. You shouldn't teach children how to kill people.
Yeah, unless they cut you off in traffic.
And then you can do it.
And
then it's fine. You're like...
Anyway, so we were correct, but this is not surprising at all. I know people, and I was with them, like, it could potentially be someone else, possibly, but it was obviously Kurt that was killing these girls.
Yeah.
This was so obvious. But it could have been the billionaire. It could have been, who knows. But it was Kurt. And I said right from the get-go, like, I know this actor's eyes.
Yeah.
That's 100% him. And yes, we get 100,000,000% confirmation. Now, whether or not he has an accomplice, right? The billionaire comes out to hang out with him. If people are like really... We haven't heard anything about that billionaire in a couple episodes now, right? So I don't know how he'll come back into play or what purpose he'll serve. But for now, I don't really have any speculation on that. We just know that Kurt is responsible for killing these young girls. And, you know, I will say that while I did find this girl to be dumb as getting herself in a situation like this, she's too old to me. She's got to be in her 20s. And I'm not saying this shit doesn't happen. It does. And she just wants to take the generosity, like he's doing this out in public and whatever. But she like goes into this guy's like basement. You know, he's like, oh, come on down here and I'm going to put you in this room. And she's like, well, what do you want in return? He's like, oh, you just pay it forward and this and that. And he like shuts the door and whatever. And right before that, she says the words like, oh, I could die.
I could die and go to heaven. Right now.
It's like, bad choice of words.
Super, I mean, yeah, and he obviously acknowledges that as well.
Yeah. So, okay. That being said, so she's very naive for putting herself in this situation. But I did like how she handled everything from there. Like she wasn't going out without a fight. And she wasn't going to play by his rules for any reason. And I liked that spunk. I liked that tenacity. I really liked her, you know, decisions to try to survive. You know, she did pretty much everything she could. And she really kind of stuck to her guns until he stuck her with his gun.
Yeah.
Right through the eyeball.
Right through the eyeball.
And then one in the chest, too, because he's a fucking psychopath.
Oh my god,
And we're going to have to speculate on what the hell's going on with him. Like, why does he want it a certain way and whatnot? But we'll get... Or we can do it now. Fuck it. Why not? We're on it.
Well, so, I mean, I don't know. He's very specific, obviously, about his setup and what he has done. And I mentioned to you, too, you know, like how many women... when they see that there's a camera in the room and that it says you are already dead, you know, they have the exact same reaction every time. And he's obviously, that's the purpose, right? He wants to see that reaction from them. He wants them to, you know, play it out in the way that, like you said, follow his rules. And I don't know that we have enough backstory on him really to fill in like what that could be from.
Yeah.
Because it seems like he's recreating an event.
Yes.
You know, so... whether that's his wife or a past, you know, love or his sister or a daughter that we don't know about or, you know, any of those things, it could be, you know, any one of them or any other option too. So it could be anything. So
I'll say, going off of what you're saying, if I'm going to guess off of the things you're saying, I'm not going to say it's a love interest. I'm going to say that because she's a very attractive girl. And she goes to get naked, and he's like, does not want to see it, and is very specific, like, this is not what this is about, right? So to me, that doesn't say wife, lover,
that's a good point.
Right? Like, I don't want to see you naked. I don't want sexuality in this. This is not what this is about. So so he's like disgusted by it, like you would if you saw your daughter naked, right? Like being sexual towards you, anyways. You'd just be like, what are you doing? Absolutely not. I'm shutting the fucking camera off. I'm not going to look at this. So, yeah, I think you could be onto something with the daughter thing. Just because of that. Because that's our real only clue is, like, he's very turned off by the sexuality. And then also, she's supposed to run for her life. Right? So there's something about the hunt. There's something about... because he gets in full, like... hunting gear, right? And all he's gonna do is just walk out the door and shoot her in the back as she runs away. It's not like he's like gonna go do, you know, the most dangerous game or anything. He's gonna go hunt her in the woods. He's gonna give her a 5-minute head start. No, we see what he does with the other girl.
Right,
he just shoots her right in the back as she's running away like a fucking pussy.
Yeah.
Like what is this? Like what thrill is he getting out of this? What? But okay, I will say this. I definitely think what's happening here as far as the whole, his son being seen, and he's like, oh, I FaceTime called him, and he had some guy go out and pose as his son, right? I mean, the detective and the podcaster go out and they see them, and they figure all that out. So the only thing I can think is that, right, they were trying to widen the search. They opened it up to that bear cave, right, where Dexter was going to dispose of bodies. And I think Kurt's bodies were already in there. That's where he's disposing of his bodies, right? And then he's like, I can't have them find, my victims.
Sure. Yeah.
So I have to call it off. Like, even if it's at the expense of my son, which he already thinks is a lost cause. And he's like, oh, my son's a fuck up.
Right. Like, it's like, nah, he doesn't.
He's kind of done to him anyway. Like, I think when he comes in, it's like he's the loving father and this and that. But then when it comes to his survival and him getting found out as being his murderer, or his son who's done nothing but like fail him, or he's like 100%. It's self-preservation.
Sure.
Right?
I think that's a good theory especially about the bear cave, and with him and his the father-son relationship. I think that's definitely supposed to be juxtaposing Dexter and Harrison, and I think that it'll be opposite most likely. I think Dexter, we've already seen him this episode make those big mistakes, and Harrison has also made some mistakes that are going to affect Dexter majorly. So I don't think that he's going to be as cold as Kurt is. I think he's going to be trying to be human, and that's going to get him in trouble.
Another thing with Kurt here, because there's a very ritualistic nature to the things that he's doing. Another really quick point about the whole camera and the "you're already dead" thing up on the thing. While it is creepy, I mean, how many girls have walked into that room and immediately looked over and been like, what the fuck is that? I'm out.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's already there.
You think too, I mean...
She didn't, search the room and see that? It's pretty obvious.
It just feels like...
Until the light comes on is when they look over there,
I guess
right?
It's the light, yeah, because it must just not be on in the
You don't look up in corners, right?
But that's the thing, though.
But
like,
you'd see a
anytime that
camera.
I've been in a hotel room or an Airbnb or any place that is not like my home or, a friend's
Could
house
be sketchy,
or something.
right?
Yeah, especially if you were a girl by yourself that's a
100.
runaway that's traveling on her own, that's taking... Like, you would definitely be... suspicious of people, and especially suspicious of men that are offering you places to stay and saying they want nothing in return. It's just like, if it's too good to be true, right? Like,
100.
So I do think that more girls especially, would have noticed it right away and been like, I'm out. Like, no way, I'm not going to let you film me.
You would definitely see that camera up in the corner.
Yeah. It's the same color as the wall, but it's not hidden in
so
any way.
What it
so
should be, it should be hidden. And it should lower down.
Yes.
I don't think it does that.
No,
I think it's permanent, right? Because it's written on the actual ceiling. It's not written on the camera that lowers in.
Right.
So
it's there.
If the camera does lower, I didn't notice it.
No.
That would be the only thing that would make me go, oh, okay, it's up in the wall and then it lowers down. That would make sense, and it would be a really easy thing to do.
Yeah.
So it's up in the wall, then the camera lowers down, and on it says you're already dead.
Yeah.
Totally works, but it being in the corner and they never see it, bullshit.
Yeah, they would definitely.
Total bullshit.
Somebody would. I'm sure there's some that probably would have no
She was
clue, but
looking around at every fucking angle of that room and didn't notice a camera that says you're already dead on it.
Right.
Come on. That's kind of stuff that I'm like, ugh. And another, okay, we'll just get to it. My biggest gripe of the episode, and I have a few, the camera being one. The second being that Dexter knows that this guy, he already almost got caught killing this other guy, and he has a real clever plan B. Now, whether or not Dexter has a plan B in mind at all times, or if he's just calling an audible, like on last second kind of thing, I don't know. He's like, time for plan B, and he punches him in the face and pulls the syringe out of his neck and everything. Good thing he didn't push that plunger. That would have been a whole nother bit of mistake there. But he's doing it on broad daylight in a parking lot with a bunch of people. Like, Dexter's just getting sloppy as fuck. And you could say that's it. So this could explain away how annoyed I am with this next scene, because then he finds out, he's like, oh, I'm going to kill the drug dealer. No, actually, I'm going to kill the drug dealer's drug dealer, right? He's going up the chain. He's going to go take out the mafia in the next episode, right? He's going to fly out.
The cartel.
He's going to fly out and take out the cartel. But anyway, so he goes to the guy's house. He knows the cops are coming. They have that's where he got the fucking address.
Right.
And he just saw Logan going off on this dude, being like, shit. Even Dexter says, man, even I'm intimidated right now. Like, this guy is out for blood. Yeah. He wants these guys to go down. Like, you need to give me the name of this guy. He gets the address. And what does he do? He goes there that night.
Yeah.
And he goes and ties him up and puts his whole fucking thing up in the house when the cops could break in at any second. So that's just dumb, A. B, then he hears the cops somehow. Logan is so loud that he hears him. He looks through the window, sees Logan, and has enough time to then take down all that shit, throw it all away, or take it with him, whatever. Overdose this guy, put all of his clothes back on him, drag him downstairs, put him in the chair, make sure he's dead, grab all your shit, and sneak out of the house, which is being fucking patrolled by police officers, and get out of there before the SWAT team comes in and never sees him. This is just all pure nonsense. This, to me, is just, it's lazy writing. That part is just lazy writing to me. What Dexter should have done, if anything, with this guy in that moment when he knew the cops were coming, right fucking then. Maybe he's like, oh, they're going to need a warrant. They get one pretty quick in this instance, right? I would think. So Dexter knows, like, they could show up at any minute. And he's going to kill him in the house?
Yeah.
Like, no, you're going to drug him and you're going to take him out. You're going to throw him in your freaking car, maybe park it around back. I mean, if you're going to try to take someone in broad daylight, you can take someone, like, park your car in the garage, throw him in, drive out, right? Uh-huh. That's better than killing him in the house when the cops could be. Imagine if he's, like, he's, like, twice in this episode, he's almost caught right in the middle of doing it.
Yeah. And then I think that is supposed to be that he's getting sloppy.
Sure.
He's not.
But this is
I agree.
Super fucking sloppy.
Yeah. And I mean, how much of that is, like you're saying, sloppy writing and lazy writing versus just the character is making these bad decisions.
Maybe he'll address it.
I think I'm hopeful that it'll be addressed, because I do think that's part of, where he's at as a character, is that he hasn't been killing, he hasn't been doing the thing that he's good at, and he's gotten rusty at it. And that doesn't make it like a whole lot, I guess, better, really. But it is an explanation.
And then we've got the third one, which I think you already know what this is. This is just pure convenience. Plot convenience like a motherfucker.
At the bar.
So our detective and podcaster go to this little seminar thing, whatever. And they go down there. And who's there? I mean, it's cool to see him, don't get me wrong. I like Batista. It's cool. It's like, oh, Batista, how cool. Hopefully Masuka's there too. Who knows? But it's just like how it goes down. The fact that he's there, fine. The fact that he's like, oh, this reminds me of the Trinity Killer. And then he like walks away and he's like, yeah, and then her brother died as well. And then he had a son. Oh, what was his name? Why would he want it? Why would he tell her the name?
Yeah.
Like, why would he bring that up? What does it matter? Oh, cute kid. What was his name? And then he walks away. And then he has to come back to, oh yeah, it's Harrison.
Yeah.
Like, she'd give a fuck. Like, why would she care at all
like
what the kid's name was?
I mean, yeah, it is supposed to be like she's at the right place at the right time. I mean, the conference that she's going to, like that segment that she was about to like listen in on, was about like finding connection between completely separate cases.
Yeah.
So I think that was supposed to be kind of, she's at a conference to learn about how you can make connections that you didn't see otherwise, and then this happens to come in just at the right time.
Serendipitous. Right.
But it is very convenient that happens, and I think it could have been done differently, and she could have still gotten that information without it feeling like she was just being, spoon-fed it.
Sure, she could have asked deeper questions.
Right?
It could have just been like, oh, who's that? And you're like, oh, she's, she used to work with me, her and her brother, actually, and they're both dead. And she's like, oh my God, it's terrible. And she's like, yeah. I mean, it's pretty tragic. We were really close friends and this and that, and you know, he even had a son who I you know was, you know, around, and that was tough, and she's like talking to him about it. And I get it. Like, you want to streamline, right? Like, that's the point. And plot conveniences come out of just time management a lot of the times in shows. But when it feels forced, I feel like the audience feels like they're kind of getting slapped in the face a little bit. You could chalk it up to that Batista is just missing his friends, right?
Yeah.
And he kind of talks to everybody about it. And he's just like, he hasn't gotten over the fact that Dexter and Deb are dead and that Harrison is missing. And so he's just kind of like, you know, had a few drinks at the bar, and he's like, oh man, that little cute kid, Harrison, you know, whatever. I'm fine. It's just, for the show, it feels very like, oh, what was his name again? Oh yeah, huh. It's convenience. It's a lot of convenience for it, but yeah. Moving on from that. Harrison. Wow. We've got Harrison goes to this party where he is pissed off at his dad for calling him out for exactly what he actually did.
Right.
And so, which is pretty typical of kids.
Yeah.
My kids get mad at me all the time for calling them out for shit that they're actually doing. Like, all the time.
All the time.
But anyway, so yeah, he goes to this party, and while he's there, like, everyone wants him to do drugs, and every chick seems to want to fuck him for saving their life. So he's having a grand old time till he takes some fentanyl, and when he does that, he makes a big boo-boo.
He sure does.
Which-
Audrey comes in.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey man, are you okay? You don't look good. Let's get you water.
Right.
And he's like, you know, my dad's name isn't even Jim.
Right.
And she's like, what are you saying?
Right.
And he ODs.
And then she goes home to Mama after everything and
After Mama's
drops
like,
the bombshell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Mama finds an obituary.
Sure
for
does.
Dexter Morgan.
Sure does. Looks a lot like her boyfriend.
Sure does. Sure does.
I think, yeah, she's going to call. I definitely think we'll see Batista again now.
Yes, I do too.
I mean, didn't he give her the card, like his card? Or I mean, sure, he would have, regardless if he did or did not.
She'll be able to contact him, yeah, even if she didn't have it, though. She knows that he works at it.
I feel like all business card scenes should be banned if they're not from American Psycho.
Yes, I
Right?
agree.
Like, once something's been done perfectly,
right, don't
just
even
don't even try it again. No
Just
one's allowed to give
ignore
out
it.
business
No.
cards ever again.
No, nobody.
It's nice. Gotta go return some videotapes. And let's see. I think. Oh, did I? I don't think I got to the point. Yeah, I got off topic. I don't know how, but I usually do. Kurt's ritualistic. Oh, I got into the camera thing. That's how I got off
Yeah.
topic. Getting back to that really quick. Getting back into like maybe a little bit of you know, threads to connect potentially. Another piece of information that we have here is part of Kurt's ritualistic nature, which includes killing young girls at his little getaway. Actually, it's probably just his house, right?
Yeah.
Looks like somebody's winter cabin, but this is his home. Anyway, he also goes to the bar every night, puts on the exact same song,
Yep.
and asks the same bartender to dance with him. Now, I guess I don't know what he does on the nights she doesn't work, or maybe the nights they're not open. Maybe they're open every night. Maybe there's a male bartender and he dances with him. I don't know. Doesn't matter. What it is, though, this song, and I said, right, that I've heard this, yeah. We heard this song somewhere else this week, or this last month, I'm sorry. Somewhere. I'm not saying it was in this show. But the odds of me hearing this song
Twice.
in something else could have been Yellow Jackets, could have been Chucky, could have been something else. I'm pretty sure it was a TV show we were watching. I don't remember every single second of all the other 4 episodes so far, and I don't know what it would give me a clue, but there's something to that as well. He's going every night, he's reliving a dance. Now, a dance would suggest romance.
But
maybe he took his daughter out dancing. I don't know. Maybe that was. I don't know.
it's not every night though. It's just on the nights when he has a girl. Because I'm pretty sure that the bartender says something of the effect of like he comes in about like once a month or whatever.
Oh, is that
and
what she
does
says?
This. Yeah. So it's not every night. So it's
But
whenever
it's still
he
real.
does this. But yeah, it is
still ritualistic.
absolutely still ritualistic. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it could be like daddy-daughter dances happen. It could have, if we're sticking with like the daughter theory, there's a lot of ways that he could have heard that song and associated it with her.
But yeah, why would he want to kill his daughter? Is he
right.
trying to recreate his daughter's death?
That's kind of where, when I think if it's his daughter, I sort of am thinking like maybe there was a hunting accident where he accidentally shot her, and these things were leading up to it where she was, I don't know, crashing at his place, or they, like that kind of a thing where he is recreating her death and like the, as much of the details as he can possibly recreate, he does.
Does he ever say anything about his son and like, oh, he's my only son and all that? I mean, we might have already gotten confirmation he doesn't have a daughter.
Sure.
Ever.
Yeah.
And we're just forgetting it.
I can't remember right now whether or not he mentions having any other children or whether his son is his only son, just that he's disappointed in him.
What happens was the mother.
We don't know about the mother, which is kind of why I was like, maybe it could be romantic in some way.
Maybe.
But
I'm not saying it's impossible.
Yeah.
I'm just saying with the sexuality thing.
And even with that though, like if there was like if he murdered his wife or his lover because they weren't, they were frigid and they were like weren't having sex with them and they were fighting, perhaps part of it is him needing it to be like he doesn't want them to be coming on to him and trying to be intimate because she wasn't that way. So it kind of breaks the fantasy for him. But it could be.
Could be anything.
Could be Iris, right? Like, I don't know how far back this has been going on, but maybe she was the first one, and then everything since then.
Yeah.
I don't know, but there's, obviously, the more we watch, the more we'll find out. So I'm excited for that, and I like, how things are developing with him. But despite all of the conveniences in this episode, I still liked it, a great amount. I've been really enjoying this season, and part of that might just be that I'm happy that Dexter is back on the air. But I don't know.
Our horror movie kid in this is donning a Evil Dead shirt this time. He's wearing multiple horror shirts throughout this show, so we caught an Evil Dead shirt this time. So I'm always on the lookout for what he's going to wear next. And I think that is it. Yeah, I still stick to my thing that the blogger Molly or Holly or
Holly, I
think it's Molly.
The podcast girl, though.
What did I say?
You said Molly?
No, I didn't
Blogger.
call her blogger.
You called her a blogger?
Sorry. Podcaster. I still think she's going to be, because, the detective is the one that has now exposed, I guess Harrison has, through Audrey, through the detective, exposed Dexter. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of out of the bag now. Now, where that goes from here, I think Dexter, I think she's going to go to him and confront him about it, and he's going to be like, I needed to get away. Like, after my sister died. Like, I couldn't handle it anymore. So I had to change my identity. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe he'll tell her he's in the witness relocation program. Or, I don't know. But then all it's going to do is take a call to Batista to him being like, where's this motherfucker?
Sure. I actually don't know if she's going to confront him right away. I could also see her sort of just kind of keeping that information at the moment and trying to get more out of him and kind of catch him in further lies.
But I mean, there's no, I don't know. It's definitely worrisome.
Oh, absolutely.
For her, so I don't know. I don't know what kind of interactions she's gonna be like. If this guy's lying about this, what else is he lying to me about? And shit has went sideways ever since Harrison showed up.
He's gonna become a suspect.
Sure. So, but I still think it's the podcaster that is gonna be one of Kurt's victims. She's gonna figure him out. She's gonna end up there. And I do think that Kurt's eventually going to kidnap Harrison. And Dexter's going to have to come get him back from him. He's going to like take, you took my son, I take yours kind of shit. Once he figures it out.
I could see though also Audrey being a victim and which you had mentioned
Yes, I did.
a few episodes ago. I think that that's really possible that she becomes a victim and Harrison tries to go save her, which then draws Dexter into it,
Yeah.
even more. But all of those options I think would be a cool, direction for the show to go.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll keep watching.
All right. Till next week.
Bye.
Bye.